The great city of the Human Council floated above the clouds of a shining world. Towers of glass touched the sky, and light spread like rivers of fire in the night. Inside the tallest tower, 12 council members sat around a dark table. Their faces were half hidden in the shadows, and their voices were cold. On the table, a single file glowed with a red mark, classified, dragon-eyed phenomenon. "Another one has been born," whispered the first speaker, his voice like steel. "This cannot be allowed." The others leaned closer. The file showed a child with strange eyes. Not normal human eyes, but glowing with a faint pattern, like scales of a dragon. "It is impossible," said the second speaker. "The last one appeared almost 2 centuries ago. That child brought destruction. Entire fleets were lost." Everyone in the room remembered the story. The council never told the people the truth, but history carried whispers. Long ago, a child with dragon eyes was born, and when he grew older, his power awakened. He had the ability to connect with alien machines, machines older than human history. Because of him, a war with the Valari Empire had started. Millions had died before peace was forced. The council had sworn, if such a child ever appeared again, he must be destroyed before the secret spread. "This one was born on a colony world," said the third speaker, eyes narrowing. "The mother hides him, but the signs are clear. If the colonies learn the truth, if the Valari learn the truth, we will lose control." Silence fell. The 12 council members stared at the glowing image of the child. His eyes shone even in the picture. They seemed alive, as if staring back into the room. One member, younger than the others, shifted in his seat. His name was Officer Kale, recently promoted and still learning the dark secrets of the council. He spoke carefully. "Perhaps the child is only different in appearance," Kale said. "We cannot punish him for being born. What if—" The first speaker slammed his hand on the table. "Enough. You are too young to understand. This is not about one child. This is about survival. The dragon-eyed are not human. They are linked to something greater, something alien. If the people know the council hid this, our power will end." Kale kept silent, but his thoughts burned. He remembered the child's mother from the reports. A simple woman, living quietly. Could she really be raising a threat to humanity? Or was the council hiding something? The meeting continued. "The order is clear," said the first speaker. "Send a special unit to the colony. Take the child alive if possible. If not, erase him. Burn all evidence. No one must ever know." The words fell heavy in the room. One by one, the council agreed. 11 voices said yes. Only Kale stayed silent. The first speaker's eyes turned to him. "Officer Kale, do you understand your duty?" Kale nodded slowly. "Yes, Speaker." But inside, doubt twisted in his chest. Later, in the silent halls of the tower, Kale walked alone. His boots echoed on the floor. He could not forget the image of the child. Those glowing eyes, not evil, not dangerous. Just different. He remembered something his mother once told him: the council does not fear danger. The council fears truth. Was this the truth they feared? Kale entered a restricted chamber, where old files were stored. His clearance allowed him inside. He searched the archives and found another file, older, almost forgotten, the first dragon-eyed. He opened it. The report was incomplete, but what it revealed chilled his blood. The first dragon-eyed child had not started the war. The war had started because the council tried to kill him. The Valari had discovered the truth and fought back, claiming the humans were destroying a child of prophecy. Kale closed the file quickly, heart racing. If this was true, the council had lied for centuries. And now, history was about to repeat. The next day, Kale stood in the command room as the special unit prepared for departure. Their black armor reflected no light. Their orders were simple: find the child, erase the evidence. Kale's commander looked at him. "You will travel with the team. The council trusts you." Kale forced a calm nod. But inside, his decision was already made. He could not let the council murder an innocent child. When the dropships launched toward the colony world, Kale sat in silence, planning. He would have to move carefully. If the council discovered his betrayal, his life would end. But when he thought of the child, small and defenseless, something stronger than fear filled his heart. He would warn the mother. He would protect the child. Far away, on the colony, the mother rocked her child to sleep. The baby's eyes glowed faintly in the dark, shining like 2 small stars. She whispered a prayer, unaware that death ships were already cutting through space toward her world. And in the shadows of those ships, Officer Kale prepared for the choice that would change everything. The colony world of Eden, 9 slept under a sky full of stars. Small towns lay silent, with farms stretching into the dark plains. But tonight, silence would not last. In the hills outside the main settlement, Mara held her baby close. His strange glowing eyes blinked at the night. She felt uneasy, as if shadows were watching her. Something deep inside told her danger was near. She whispered to herself, "I must protect you, no matter what." At the same time, far above Eden 9, black dropships cut through the atmosphere. Engines burned quietly, leaving no trace in the clouds. Inside, Council soldiers sat ready, helmets hiding their faces. Their orders were simple: capture the dragon-eyed child, or destroy him. Among them sat Officer Kale, silent, his face pale. His heart pounded. He knew what was coming. He had read the truth. The Council lied. The child was not the danger, the Council was. He clenched his fists. "I cannot let them kill him." The dropships touched down near the colony. Soldiers moved like shadows through the town, silent and cold. Doors broke, lights flared, screams echoed. Families were dragged outside as soldiers searched every house. Mara heard the noise from her small cabin on the edge of the colony. Her eyes widened. "They've come." She grabbed a small bag she had kept ready for weeks: food, water, a data chip, and a worn blanket. She wrapped the baby tight and ran out the back door into the dark fields. But soldiers were fast. Within minutes, searchlights swept the fields. A voice shouted, "There! The woman! She has the child!" Blaster fire cut the night. Mara ran, heart pounding, legs burning. She stumbled down a slope and hid behind old rocks. The baby whimpered, his glowing eyes shining through the cloth. She pressed him close, whispering, "Quiet, my love, quiet." Then a hand grabbed her shoulder. Mara gasped and turned, ready to fight. But it was not a soldier, it was Kale. "Don't scream," he whispered. His face was tense, but his eyes were kind. "I'm here to help." Mara stared at him, breathing hard. "Your council. You're with them." "Yes," Kale admitted, "but I don't follow their orders tonight. If you stay, they'll kill you both. You must leave this world." "Leave? How?" Kale pulled her behind the rocks as searchlights passed nearby. "There's an old cargo ship at the edge of the landing bay. It's old, broken, but it can still fly. I can get you there." Mara hesitated. She didn't trust him, but she saw no other choice. Together, they moved through the dark fields, avoiding patrols. Kale used his clearance codes to mislead sensors and unlock gates. But soldiers grew closer, voices echoing in the distance. At last, they reached the landing bay. Dozens of ships stood there, most guarded by troops. Only one ship was unguarded, rusted and silent, a forgotten cargo hauler. Its hull was dented, its engines patched with old metal. Mara looked at it with despair. "That thing will never fly." "It will," Kale said firmly. "It has to." They ran aboard. The inside smelled of oil and dust. Kale rushed to the cockpit, pressing old switches. Lights flickered weakly. Engines groaned like dying beasts. Outside, alarms screamed. Soldiers had tracked them. Searchlights cut across the landing bay. Voices shouted, "Stop them!" Blaster shots hit the hull. Metal burned. Mara cried out, shielding the baby. "Hold on!" Kale shouted. He slammed the ignition. The engines roared to life, shaking the whole ship. Slowly, painfully, the cargo hauler rose from the ground. Soldiers opened fire. Bolts of energy ripped through the air. The ship shuddered as sparks flew across the controls. "Shields failing!" Kale shouted. The baby began to cry, his small voice lost in the roar of engines and fire. Mara held him tight, tears in her eyes. The ship lifted higher, but enemy fighters broke from the clouds, chasing fast. Their sleek shapes glowed with deadly light. "They'll destroy us before we leave the atmosphere." Kale shouted. "Then what do we do?" Mara cried. Kale had no answer. He pulled the controls, weaving through the night sky, dodging fire. Explosions lit the darkness. The old ship trembled, metal tearing. One fighter locked on target. A missile streaked forward. "No!" Mara screamed. And then, something happened. The baby's eyes glowed brighter than ever, shining like burning stars. The glow spread across the cockpit, filling the ship with strange light. The engines roared louder, far beyond their limits. The controls moved on their own, fighting Kale's hands. "What's happening?" Kale gasped. The ship twisted violently, and then, suddenly, it vanished in a burst of light. Silence. The cargo ship reappeared in the middle of deep space, far from Eden 9. Stars stretched endlessly in every direction. The enemy fighters were gone. The alarms were silent. The baby's eyes dimmed again, and he fell asleep in Mara's arms. Kale stared at the controls in shock. "We didn't make the jump, not through the engines. The child, he did it." Mara held her son close, trembling. She whispered, "What are you, my child? What are you?" Kale looked out the window, into the endless unknown. They were safe, for now. But he knew the council would never stop. And far away, in the void of space, something ancient had felt the child's power awaken. Something that had been waiting. The old cargo ship floated in the middle of deep space. Its engines were almost dead, and the hull groaned with every movement. Inside, Mara sat in silence, holding her sleeping child. His small chest rose and fell softly. For the first time since the escape, there was no sound of soldiers or gunfire. But peace felt fragile. Kale stood at the cockpit, scanning the endless stars. His face was pale, his mind racing. The child moved the ship. No, not moved, pulled it. But to where? Suddenly, a soft beep echoed from the control panel. A weak signal blinked on the radar, far away but steady. Not human, not council. Something older. Kale frowned. That's impossible. This sector is uncharted. Mara tightened her grip on the child. What is it? Kale shook his head. A station. Or something shaped like one. The signal is ancient. No human code, no council code. It shouldn't exist. Mara's voice trembled. If the council follows us, we'll need shelter. Go there. Kale hesitated. He had learned never to trust the unknown. But he saw the fear in Mara's eyes, and the quiet glow still resting in the child's. He nodded and set a course. Hours passed as the ship drifted closer to the source. At last, a shadow appeared against the stars. It grew larger, taking shape, a massive structure, broken and silent, floating alone in the void. It was an alien station, half destroyed, its walls cracked like bones. Strange markings ran across its surface, lines that glowed faintly, like veins of fire. Mara gasped. It's alive. The cargo ship docked with a trembling shudder. Lights flickered as the airlock sealed. Kale strapped a blaster to his side. Stay close. We don't know what's inside. Mara wrapped the child tighter and followed. The doors opened with a hiss, and stale air washed over them. The corridor was dark, filled with dust and silence. Strange symbols covered the walls, curved and sharp, glowing softly as they passed. Each step echoed too loudly. The place felt abandoned, but not empty. They reached a vast chamber, its ceiling high like a cathedral. In the center stood a broken console, covered in alien writing. When Kale touched it, nothing happened. But the child stirred in Mara's arms. His eyes opened, glowing faintly. He reached out with one tiny hand. The console flared to life. Lights shot across the chamber, racing along the walls. Symbols blazed like fire. The air trembled. And then, a deep voice filled the room, not in sound, but inside their minds. The Dragonide returns. Mara gasped. Kale staggered back, hand on his weapon. The baby only blinked, his glowing eyes reflecting the light. The voice continued. You have awakened the forgotten station. Long ago, we watched the rise of your kind. We saw the blood, the wars. But only the Dragonide can open the path. Kale whispered, What path? What does this mean? The voice seemed to answer his thoughts. The child is not curse. The child is bridge. He carries the key to unite or to destroy. He connects minds, machines, and stars. Mara held her son closer, shaking. He's just a baby. He doesn't understand. He will, said the voice. And when he does, the council will fall. Because the council fears what it cannot control. It fears truth. Kale felt his blood run cold. The words confirmed what he already knew. The council's lies. The council's fear. The prophecy was real. Suddenly, the chamber lights dimmed. Warning tones echoed through the air. The station trembled. Kale rushed to the console. "What's happening?" The voice grew faint. "They are near. The enemy follows. One among you carries their eyes." Before Kale could ask, the lights flickered out. Silence returned. Mara's heart pounded. "They found us." "How?" Kale gritted his teeth. "The council must have tracked the jump. They're coming." But his words lingered in his mind. "One among you carries their eyes." What did that mean? Back in the docking bay, their ship groaned with power again. Kale prepared to undock, but Mara noticed something strange. One of their companions, an engineer who had escaped the colony with them, stood too still. His eyes reflected the glow of the station unnaturally. "Kale," Mara whispered, pointing. The man turned slowly, his face blank. Then he smiled, but it was not his smile. "You should not have come here," he said in a cold, alien voice. "The council is not your only enemy. The child belongs to us." His hand moved, faster than human. A hidden beacon flared in his palm, sending a pulse through space. Kale pulled his blaster, but it was too late. The signal was already sent. Mara clutched her child, her body shaking. In the darkness of space, far beyond the station, engines roared. Not human engines. Alien ships began to wake from their long silence, drawn by the child's light. The alien station shook as alarms screamed. Red lights flashed across the walls, and the old metal groaned like a beast in pain. Mara held her child tightly, her heart racing. The boy's glowing eyes reflected the chaos, shining brighter with every alarm. Kale pulled her toward the docking bay. "We have to leave, now." But the traitor engineer stood in their path. His smile was no longer human. His voice echoed like two voices at once. "You cannot run. The signal has been sent. The ancient ones are coming. The child will belong to them." Kale raised his blaster. "You betrayed us." The man only laughed. His skin flickered, as if something alien moved beneath it. "The council feared the dragon-eyed. But we waited for him. And now he is here." Before Kale could fire, the traitor moved with inhuman speed. His hand struck the weapon away, sending Kale crashing against the wall. Mara screamed, clutching her child. The baby's eyes flared. A wave of energy rippled through the chamber, throwing the traitor back. He hit the floor, smoke rising from his body. For a moment, silence filled the air. Kale groaned, pulling himself up. "The child, he did that." Mara nodded, trembling. "Yes, but he's just a baby. He doesn't even know." Kale's face was pale. That much power, the council would do anything to control it. And if the aliens arrive, he shook his head, it will mean war. Outside the station, space was no longer empty. Council warships burst out of hyperspace, sleek and black, engines glowing like angry stars. Their guns lit up, targeting the alien station. But they were not alone. From the dark edges of space, massive alien ships emerged, shapes unlike anything human. Their hulls were alive with glowing veins of light. Both fleets faced each other across the broken station. And then, chaos began. Council cannons roared, ripping fire through space. Alien beams cut back, slicing human ships like paper. Explosions lit the void, turning it into a battlefield of burning wrecks. Mara watched through a viewport, eyes wide with horror. They're killing each other, because of him. She looked at her baby, whose glowing eyes reflected the fire of war. Kale joined her, jaw tight. "No. They're killing each other because of the lies. The council hid the truth. The aliens want it back. And the child is the key to both." The station trembled as stray blasts tore into its hull. Dust rained from the ceiling. "We can't stay here," Kale said. "The fleets will destroy this place." But before they could move, the alien console flared again. The same deep voice filled the chamber. "The moment has come. The dragon-eyed must choose." Mara shook her head. "He's just a baby. How can he choose anything? His power has already awakened. He is the bridge. Through him, the ancient weapon will rise. Through him, war may end, or consume all." Kale stepped forward, eyes narrowing. "What weapon?" The station rumbled. A hidden wall slid open, revealing a chamber filled with light. At its center stood a massive crystal structure, pulsing like a heart. Strange alien machines circled it, sleeping, waiting. "The heart of unity," said the voice. "A weapon, a tool, a choice. Only the Dragonide can command it. Unite all minds, or destroy them. That is his path." Mara's arms tightened around her child. "No, he's too small. He doesn't understand." "He will not choose alone," said the voice. "The mother guides the heart. The protector holds the shield. But the child, he is the key." The station shook violently. Explosions ripped through its outer walls. Council troops stormed aboard, blasters firing. At the same time, alien warriors materialized in beams of light, tall and sharp, weapons glowing. The war had entered the station itself. Kale fired his blaster, covering Mara. Alien and human soldiers clashed in the chamber, beams of fire crossing in deadly arcs. The baby began to cry, his glowing eyes flaring brighter with every scream. The crystal heart pulsed faster, responding to him. Mara stumbled closer to it, drawn by its glow. She whispered, "It's calling him." Kale fought his way to her side, pulling her behind cover. "If he activates that thing, what happens?" The alien voice answered, echoing through the chaos. "All will be revealed. The truth the Council hides. The truth the aliens fear. One wave will change everything." Kale looked at Mara, sweat running down his face. "We don't have a choice. If we don't use it, both fleets will destroy us. If we do," he glanced at the child, "then everything changes." Mara's eyes filled with tears. "He's my son. I just wanted him to live in peace." Kale put a hand on her shoulder. "Peace is what he can give. Or take away. It's up to us to guide him." The baby reached out his tiny hand toward the crystal. His eyes glowed like two burning stars. The chamber exploded in light. Soldiers froze mid-battle, weapons raised but unmoving. Time itself seemed to stop. Kale looked around, stunned. "What's happening?" The voice thundered, "The Dragonide has awakened the heart. The revelation begins." Mara held her son close as the crystal blazed brighter and brighter, filling every corner of the station, every ship outside, every mind across the battlefield. And in that blinding light, every soldier, every captain, every council member, every alien warrior, saw the truth the Council had hidden for centuries. The alien station blazed with light. The crystal heart pulsed like a star, flooding every ship, every soldier, every mind with its power. Mara covered her eyes, holding her son close. His dragon-like eyes glowed brighter than ever, shining like two suns. The baby was no longer crying. He was calm, as if he understood everything happening around him. Kale stood frozen, unable to move. His body felt heavy, but his mind was wide open. Images flashed before him, visions from the past, hidden truths. He saw the first dragon-eyed child, 2 centuries ago, hunted by the Council. He saw the Council twisting history, blaming the child for a war they had started. He saw the Valari aliens swearing to protect any dragon-eyed in the future, believing them to be a bridge between species. The truth struck Kale like fire. The Council has lied for generations. They built their power on fear and secrets. Around the battlefield, soldiers dropped their weapons. Council troops stared at their enemies, no longer seeing strangers but minds suddenly linked with theirs. Alien warriors blinked in shock as human memories mixed with their own. For a single moment, all were connected. Mara gasped, clutching her son. She felt the same connection, every thought, every memory of war, every scream of pain. But she also felt something else, hope, a deep longing for peace shared by both humans and aliens. The Crystal Heart's voice thundered, "The truth is revealed. No longer hidden. The Dragonide has broken the chains of silence." The first speaker of the Council, watching from the command ship, staggered back in horror. His mind was filled with visions he had fought to bury. The lies of the Council, the executions, the cover-ups, everything was exposed. "No," he whispered. "The people must never know. We will lose control." But his officers looked at him with new eyes, their thoughts now touched by the child's wave. They saw him not as a leader, but as a liar. For the first time in centuries, the Council's power cracked. Back inside the station, the traitor engineer, half-human, half-alien vessel, struggled to rise. His eyes flickered with rage. The child cannot be allowed to live. He will destroy the balance of power. Kale stepped forward, blaster in hand. No. He will destroy the lies. Before the traitor could strike, Kale fired. The alien host fell silent, his body burning into ash. Mara looked at Kale, tears in her eyes. Why help us? You could have followed the council. Kale's voice was steady. Because the council fears the truth. And I've seen it now. This child is not our doom. He's our future. The station shook again. The fleets outside were silent now, weapons lowered, but the structure was breaking apart. The Crystal Heart's light began to fade, its power almost spent. Mara hugged her child. What happens now? The voice spoke one last time. The child has revealed the truth. But the path ahead is still dark. Protect him. Guide him. For others will come. The Dragonide are not one, they are many. The chamber collapsed as the voice faded forever. Kale grabbed Mara's arm and pulled her toward the cargo ship. Metal groaned, fire burst from the walls, but they reached the docking bay just in time. The old ship lifted away as the alien station crumbled behind them, breaking into dust and light. From space, they saw the battlefield. Human and alien fleets no longer fired. Instead, silence hung heavy between them. Captains and soldiers were still reeling from the visions, from the truth they had all shared. Mara whispered, "They know now. The council can't hide anymore." Kale nodded. "Yes. But that makes you and the child even more dangerous. The council will hunt you harder than ever." Mara kissed her son's forehead, whispering softly, "Then let them come. I will never let them take him." The baby's glowing eyes opened again. For a moment, Kale thought he saw not just light but galaxies reflected in them. Stars, worlds, futures unspoken. And then the glow faded, and the child fell asleep again, as if nothing had happened. Far away, across the stars, whispers spread. On distant worlds, people began to question the council's history. On alien worlds, leaders wondered if the prophecy had truly begun. And in the deepest shadows, a hidden figure smiled. He spoke to unseen allies, his voice dark and certain. This was not the only Dragonide child. Others are waiting. And when they rise, the true war will begin. The old cargo ship drifted through silent space. Its engines rattled, patched together with quick repairs, but it still flew. Inside, Mara sat with her son wrapped in her arms. The baby slept peacefully, his strange dragon-like eyes closed, hiding the light within. Kale watched from the cockpit. His hands gripped the controls, but his mind was far away. Ever since the station collapsed, since the crystal revealed the truth, the galaxy was no longer the same. The council's lies were exposed to soldiers and captains, yet the council still held power. And power does not fall quietly. "They'll come for us," Kale said softly. Mara looked up. "They already have." She rocked her child gently. "But he saved us. He saved them all." Kale turned. His eyes were dark. "Yes. And that is why they'll never stop. The council will call him a weapon. The aliens will call him a prophecy. Everyone will want to own him." Mara's voice grew sharp. "He's not a weapon. He's my son." Kale nodded slowly, but in his heart he wondered. The child had frozen an entire battlefield. He had linked the minds of two warring species. Power like that, power could not stay hidden forever. Days passed. The cargo ship wandered through unknown systems, avoiding patrols. Kale traded stolen codes for supplies, always watching for traps. Mara rarely left her quarters, keeping her baby close, whispering lullabies to drown her fear. But one night, as stars drifted past the viewport, a strange sound echoed through the ship. Not alarms. Not engines. A voice. It whispered like a breath across the metal walls, "We see you." Mara froze. "Kale, did you hear that?" Kale rushed to the console. "Hear what?" The lights flickered. The child stirred in his sleep, his eyes glowing faintly. The whisper came again, stronger, dragon-eyed, "You are not alone." The cockpit screen lit with a strange signal, no coordinates, no source. Just symbols, curved and sharp, glowing like fire. The same symbols from the alien station. Kale's chest tightened. Another station. Mara held her son tighter. Or another trap. The baby suddenly opened his eyes, staring at the screen. His tiny hand reached out, glowing brighter. The symbols shifted, forming a star map. Kale swallowed. He wants us to follow." Mara shook her head. "No. It's too dangerous." But the ship's engines roared to life on their own. Controls moved under Kale's hands, forcing a course toward the map. Kale muttered, "We don't have a choice. He's guiding us." The cargo ship jumped into hyperspace. Stars bent, light twisted, and then silence returned as they emerged in an unknown sector. Before them stretched a graveyard of ships, giant hulks floating in the dark, human and alien alike. Broken weapons, shattered hulls, all lost to some forgotten battle. Mara's breath caught. What is this place? Kale scanned quickly. A battlefield, but from centuries ago. Maybe from the First War. No one should be here. As they drifted deeper, one shape rose larger than the rest, a colossal ship, black as night, still intact. Its surface glowed faintly with the same symbols. The child's eyes flared. The symbols on the ship lit up in answer. Kale whispered, "It's waiting for him." They docked with the massive vessel. Inside, the corridors were silent, dustless, as if time itself had paused. Unlike the alien station, this place felt alive, watching. In the central chamber, a great throne-like structure stood, surrounded by tall pillars. On each pillar, symbols burned with strange light. The child squirmed in Mara's arms, reaching toward the throne. Mara shook her head. "No, no, it's dangerous." But the whisper returned, filling the chamber, louder now, "The first has awakened. Others must rise." Kale stepped forward, eyes narrowing. "Others? What others?" The voice answered, "The dragon-eyed are not one. Across the stars, more children carry the light. Scattered, hidden, hunted. When they gather, the galaxy will change forever." Mara's knees weakened. She looked at her son, horrified. "He's not the only one." Kale's mind raced. If this was true, then everything had only just begun. One dragon-eyed had shaken the council and the aliens. What would happen if there were more? Suddenly, the chamber lights dimmed. Warning tones echoed. Kale drew his blaster, spinning around. A shadow stepped from the darkness. A figure cloaked in black armor, face hidden behind a mask. His voice was low and steady. "At last. I found you." Mara clutched her son, stepping back. "Who are you?" The figure tilted his head. "A hunter. Sent by those who fear the truth. Sent to erase the dragon-eyed." Kale aimed his weapon. "You'll have to go through me." The hunter chuckled. "I was hoping you'd say that." He raised his hand. Energy crackled around him, not like human tech, not like alien light, but something darker, older. The baby's eyes blazed, answering the power. The chamber trembled, as if the whole ship waited for the clash.